Hello, this is VNA Broadcast Daily. I'm following at today's headlines.
President Trương Tấn Sang on July 1st launched a campaign to promote hygienic practices. Deputy Foreign Minister Phạm Quang Vinh talks on ASEAN's viewpoint regarding a Code of Conduct (COC) in the East Sea. Vietnam's economy shows signs of stable development in the first half of the year.
President Trương Tấn Sang on July 1st launched a campaign to promote hygienic practices for better public health. The launch ceremony was held in the northern province of Hải Dương.
As early as 1945, when the Democratic Republic of Vietnam was founded, President Ho Chi Minh had considered hygiene keeping and disease prevention one of the most important tasks in caring for public health. Following the late president's guidelines, the party and state have paid special attention to preventive medicines as well as sanitation. On June 19 this year, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng signed a decision to make July 2nd every year the Patriotic Hygiene Day for public health. The administration at two levels, the Fatherland Fronts, political, social organizations, and the community as well as each person must actively take part in the movement to make the environment safer and cleaner so that the health of the people will be improved. The state leader thanked international organizations and friends for their support for Vietnam in environmental sanitation activities. On this occasion, President Sang and other party and state leaders visited local families to check out their water wells. They also presented gifts to the health clinic center in Nam Trinh Commune.
Deputy Foreign Minister Phạm Quang Vinh has granted an interview to the press on the results of a meeting of senior officers from ASEAN in Hanoi last week. He emphasized the need to build a Code of Conduct (COC) in the East Sea as a more effective tool to ensure the region's common goals.
The Deputy Foreign Minister said that the East Sea is a very important area in terms of geostrategy, security and economics, where there are strategic maritime routes for the region and the world as well. At the same time, in the area, there exist complicated disputes on territorial sovereignty. Therefore, the common goal is to prevent the disputes from escalating and ensure peace, stability, security, maritime safety, and freedom in the East Sea. For this goal, ASEAN and China signed a very important document in 2002, which is the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the East Sea (DOC). However, in the 10-year period, the East Sea has still witnessed many complicated developments threatening regional peace, security and stability. That is the reason why the region should build a tool which can better ensure the above said objective, that is the Code of Conduct of Parties in the East Sea, or the COC. The Working Group of ASEAN Senior Officers meeting has held 7 rounds of consultations to build a document on ASEAN's viewpoints on the COC's main components. The document was adopted by the ASEAN Senior Officers meeting in Hanoi on June 24th and 25th. It will be submitted to the ASEAN foreign ministers to decide before starting ASEAN-China negotiations in the coming time. Regarding ASEAN's viewpoint on the COC's basic components, Vinh said the general approach is that the COC needs to keep the positive principles stipulated in the DOC, which is ensuring peace, stability, security, maritime safety and freedom, solving disputes peacefully, and respecting international laws, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. At the same time, ASEAN also wants the code to be more binding, with mechanisms to supervise and ensure its implementation. In particular, there should be stipulations on respecting for the exclusive economic zones and continental shelves of coastal states under the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Deputy Minister Vinh noted that the ASEAN document on the COC's main components is just the viewpoint of ASEAN. The bloc will have to negotiate with the Chinese side on specific issues. He said this process will be not easy, taking into account the differences between the two sides.
The General Statistics Office has reported that Vietnam's economy is showing signs of stable development despite difficulties caused by the global economic crisis.
At a recent press conference in Hanoi, the office reported that the country's gross domestic products (GDP) grew 4.38% in the first 6 months against the same period last year. Although the growth was lower than the year's target of 6 to 6.5%, positive signs were seen in the second quarter, in particular in the industrial and construction sectors. Manufacturing and construction areas registered a solid growth at a little over 4.5% in the second quarter, compared to 2.94% in the period from January to March. Meanwhile, the growth of consumer price index had been curbed, with the index increasing at a monthly rate of less than 0.2% in 3 consecutive months from March to May. In June, for the first time in 38 months, the index showed a minus growth of 0.26%. Exports skyrocketed by 22.2%, whereas imports maintained a lower growth at 6.9% in the first half, making trade deficit slow down by 9 times than in past years. However, goods inventories remained high. The inventory index of industrial products by June the 1st was 26% higher than the same period last year. The number of enterprises that stopped operations in the past 6 months has surpassed 26,300, up 5.4% from the same period last year, while the number of newly established companies slumped 12.5%.
The rate of unemployment in the first half of this year drops to 2.29% in comparison to 2.58% from 1 year ago, also according to the General Statistics Office.
The unemployment rate in urban areas fell to 3.62% from 3.96% year-on-year. In rural areas, the rate also decreased to 1.65% from 2.02%. Unemployment in Vietnam is equal to the rates in other countries in the region and much lower than many developing and developed countries. Vietnam now has 47.1 million working-age people, up 600,000 against the same period last year. Of the total, female workers account for 46.3%.
Vietnam welcomed over 3.3 million overseas arrivals in the first 6 months of this year, up to 30.9% against the same period last year, according to the General Statistics Office.
Vietnam's major tourism markets include the Republic of Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, Japan, France, China, and the US. Of the total, nearly 3 million arrived in Vietnam by air, while 27,000 came via sea routes and 500,000 by land. However, June saw a slight year-on-year drop of 6.6%, with just more than 417,000 arrivals. The contraction is attributed to the impacts of the global economic turmoil that leads to the tightened spending on tourism. The number of Chinese tourists registered the largest reduction at 12.3%, followed by that of Cambodian visitors at 2.6%.
The Prime Minister has approved a national plan of action aiming at reducing greenhouse gas emissions during the period from 2011 to 2020. The plan focuses on stopping the destruction and degradation of forests.
From now to 2015, the country will build a network of agencies and people for this work. Several pilot projects will be conducted to promote the sustainable management of forest resources, thus protecting and increasing forest carbon stock. These projects are also expected to generate more jobs and raise income for people in at least 8 provinces. In the next period, the plan will grow to expand the nation's forest coverage to 44 to 45%. Other goals include protecting biodiversity in the forest and improve livelihood of forest owners and local people.
And this is the end of the news today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.